Ancient Egyptian architecture represents a remarkable journey of innovation, evolving from the simple, mud-brick mastabas of the early dynastic period into the enduring stone masterpieces that define the landscape today. This progression was sparked by Imhotep, whose design of the stepped pyramid of Djoser introduced stone as a primary building material, setting the stage for the geometric perfection of the Great Pyramids of Giza. As religious and political needs changed during the New Kingdom, the focus shifted from these sky-piercing monuments toward sophisticated, rock-cut complexes like Deir el-Bahari, where architecture became harmoniously integrated with the natural environment. Ultimately, this evolution reflects the enduring desire of the pharaohs to cement their divine authority and ensure a permanent legacy for the House of Eternity. The history of ancient Egypt is a vast timeline defined by three major golden ages of stability and achievement. It began with the Old Kingdom, the iconic era of the pyramid builders, where the Great Pyramids and Sphinx were first constructed as symbols of divine royal power. After a period of transition, the Middle Kingdom emerged, celebrated as a cultural renaissance that prioritized literature, art, and a more protective role for the pharaohs. This was followed by the New Kingdom, Egypt's military peak, which saw the rise of legendary figures like Ramses II and Tutankhamun as the empire expanded its reach across the Near East. Finally, the late period marked the twilight of native Egyptian rule. Despite a brief cultural revival during the 26th dynasty, the era was characterized by successive waves of foreign conquest by the Persians and eventually Alexander the Great, bringing the age of independent pharaonic rule to a close. A pivotal figure of the Third Dynasty, Imhotep served as a chancellor and chief architect to the pharaoh Djoser, forever altering the course of human history through his engineering genius. He is most celebrated for designing the stepped pyramid of Djoser at Saqqara, a landmark achievement that represented the first large-scale use of stone in monumental architecture and transitioned royal burials from simple mud-brick mastabas into grand, complex pyramids. Beyond his architectural feats, Imhotep was a true polymath whose influence reached into the realms of medicine, priesthood, and administration, leading to his eventual deification as a god of wisdom and healing. Generations of Egyptians and later Greeks remembered him not just as a builder, but as a symbol of intellectual achievement and the father of medicine. The early dynastic period witnessed the pivotal unification of Upper and Lower Egypt under King Narmer, signaling the birth of a centralized state and the establishment of Memphis as a strategic capital. During the First and Second Dynasties, leaders like Aha consolidated political authority through advanced administrative systems and standardized writing, while religious practices began to center around the divine status of a pharaoh. Although this era preceded the age of the Great Pyramids, the construction of mud-brick mastabas and the refinement of craftsmanship laid the essential cultural and structural foundation for the architectural marvels that would follow. The Old Kingdom, 3rd to 6th dynasties, represents the golden age of pyramid building, beginning with the innovations of Imhotep under Djoser and reaching its zenith in the 4th dynasty with the construction of the Great Pyramids of Giza by Khufu, Khafre, and Menkaure. Khufu built the Great Pyramid, the largest of the three and the oldest of the 7 wonders of the ancient world. Khafre, his son, built the second largest pyramid and is widely believed to be the face representative of the Great Sphinx. Menkaure, the grandson of Khufu, built the third and smallest pyramid, which was notable for its costly granite casing. These massive monuments reflected both sophisticated technological advancement and the absolute, centralized authority of the pharaoh as a divine ruler. However, by the 5th and 6th dynasties, the immense cost of these projects and the rise of powerful regional officials led to a strain on resources, ultimately causing a decline in both the scale of royal architecture and the strength of central governance. The Middle Kingdom, from 2040 to 1782 BCE, began with the reunification of Egypt under Imhotep II, who ended a period of political fragmentation and moved the capital to Thebes. This classical age saw a departure from the massive pyramids of the Old Kingdom in favor of sophisticated mortuary complexes integrated into the natural landscape, such as those at Deir el-Bahari. These architectural changes, alongside the flourishing of literature and the shift toward a more human representation of the pharaoh, reflected a renewed emphasis on administrative stability, religious evolution, and artistic expression that defined this transformative era. The New Kingdom stands as a pinnacle of ancient Egyptian power, a transformative era that saw the civilization evolve from the localized kingdom into a sprawling international empire. Emerging from the successful explosion of the Hyksos, the pharaohs of the 18th, 19th, and 20th dynasties, including icons like Hatshepsut, Akhenaten, and Ramesses the Great, orchestrated a period of unprecedented architectural and cultural achievement. This was the age when the Valley of the Kings became the royal necropolis, and the massive temple complexes at Karnak and Luxor reached their most grand proportions. Beyond military conquest and the gold of Nubia, the era was defined by radical shifts in thought, such as the Amarna religious revolution and the signing of the world's first known peace treaty. Despite its eventual decline due to economic strain and foreign invasions, the New Kingdom remains the era most people envision when they think of the majesty and mystery of the pharaohs. The late period from 664 to 332 BCE served as the final chapter of native Egyptian rule, defined by the nostalgic revival of ancient traditions and the desperate struggle for independence against the Persian Empire before the conquest of Alexander the Great. Deir el-Bahari is a stunning archaeological complex nestled within a dramatic natural amphitheater of limestone cliffs on the west bank of the Nile and Luxor. Most famous for the mortuary temple of the female pharaoh Hatshepsut, the site represents a radical departure from the traditional pyramid structures of the Old Kingdom, opting instead for a series of elegant, colonnaded terraces connected by long ramps. This design was intended to create a seamless harmony between the monumental architecture and the rugged mountain landscape, serving not just as a burial site, but as a vibrant center for the cult of the king and the god Amun. Today, its symmetrical beauty and detailed reliefs, which depict everything from divine births to exotic trade expeditions, stand as a testament to the innovation and power of Egypt's 18th dynasty. The architectural transition from Imhotep's step pyramid to the mortuary temple at Deir el-Bahari represents a 1,000-year shift from the sheer power of vertical mass to the refined elegance of horizontal integration. While Imhotep revolutionized the old kingdom by stacking stone mastabas to create a literal stairway to the heavens that dominated the Saqqara horizon, the new kingdom architects of the el-Bahari chose to carve into the landscape, using rhythmic colonnades and wide terraces that harmonized with the natural limestone cliffs. This evolution reflects a change in the Egyptian royal identity, moving away from the isolated, fortress-like burial complexes of the early pharaohs toward more accessible, light-filled monuments designed to celebrate a ruler's earthly legacy and divine connection within the natural world. In conclusion, Egyptian architectural history represents a grand evolution from Imhotep's pioneering stone pyramids to the sophisticated, cliff-carved elegance of Deir Bahari, reflecting a civilization that mastered both eternal permanence and natural harmony. Thank you for watching.